I didn't ask you this in Magic City.
Okay.
I do want to ask you this now. I don't know if you've been asked this before.
No.
What was your thought, and I ask all the cast members from the show this, what was your thoughts and what did you first think of Attack on Titan and how were you introduced to it?
That is like a multi-part question. So my thoughts on Attack on Titan and how was I introduced to it. I first found out about Titan because I was I'd been at a few conventions when it was coming out and people were watching it like on Netflix and stuff in Japanese. So there were a lot of cosplayers already. And it was this sudden throng of people running around in green capes. Some had flowers on their heads and everyone had these giant things on their thighs. I'm like, what on earth is that? And a friend told me, oh, that's Attack on Titan. It's like the next big thing. I said, huh. Cool. And then Funimation acquired it, and I went, oh crap, this is that next big thing that I heard about. So I was really nervous. We had to do the auditions, etc. Then I was cast in it, but I didn't know who Petra was because I didn't watch the show. I just didn't have time, not out of like, ew, I'm not going to do it. I just didn't have time to. And someone said, oh, she's really cool. People really love her. I said, okay, great. And then I found out everyone has seen Attack on Titan. Do I need to do like spoilers? If you haven't seen it, plug your ears right now. So then she dies, and so like, oh man, that stinks. But it was all right because everybody loved her so much. So it's like she lives on, you know. What did I think while I was recording it? I just felt like all I did was yell. Like, why is she yelling all the time? I don't get it. There was, maybe one scene when she's not yelling in the whole show. And but then when I saw it afterwards, I went, oh, I get it. Everybody yells. Okay.
Dragon Ball.
Yeah. It's like Dragon Ball or Kill la Kill. Everyone's just shouting always. And but I think that the show's super cool, and I'm really glad that I get to be a part of it. And it has a really die-hard throng of fans, and you guys are all rad. So I'm so happy to be a part of the show. That was a cool question. Way to go. What else you got? This side, more Titan fans.
Ouran is like a very goofy, loopy show, and it has an A-list cast. And I didn't get to ask this when I was at the J. Michael Tatum Q&A because that was like very more formal. Like there was a line and everything.
Yeah, we don't have a line, but that's okay.
Just chill.
Yeah.
And were there any like behind the scenes moments that were just like funny that happened because everyone in that show was just hilarious?
Oh, always. Tons. Everybody is, like you said, A-list, top-notch, veteran type people in the lead roles, and just because that's what I'm like, this show needs the best of the best, so that's who I cast. And I think what helps though, there's so many characters, so there's an opportunity for everybody in the realm of voice acting to kind of show up and shine for a minute and then go away sometimes. Funny things, there are tons, and you're also asking me to remember a show that I recorded in 2008, but yeah, we used to have this pink rabbit. Tatum might have talked about it. It was before there was licensed stuff, really. It was hard to find things like that, so we just had, like this kind of bootleggy looking pink rabbit. It had nothing to do with Ouran, it was just a pink rabbit. It had really long ears, and on the ends of the ears were Velcro. So it was meant to be like wrapped on something or to hang on something. Well, inside our booths, which are these things called whisper rooms, so it's like a portable studio that you could put anywhere. The walls are made of like a fabricy, carpety type material. So this rabbit would just get hung from the ceiling by its ears or like hanging off the wall. And Tatum loved that stupid rabbit. And it's like his favorite thing. Like he couldn't really work unless the rabbit was in the booth with him. I don't know what he did with it. He was hitting it all the time. He would direct a lot of his lines at the rabbit. Whatever, do what you gotta do. So that was a thing. I get really wrapped up in the shows that I direct, especially if they're very good shows. I mean, sometimes as a director now and an employee director, you're just given a thing. You're like, here, this, you have to direct this, it's your job. But Ouran was very passionate about it. And so I decorated a lot. Like there was a big sign on the door to the studio that said like Music Room 3 on it. And there were, silk roses everywhere and stuff like that. Funny things. A lot of the funny stuff made its way into the show because of the outtakes. But I think one of my favorite outtakes is when Travis, who plays Mori, can't stop laughing about Honey Senpai in the little hat, like pretending to be the ice cream vendor. That is true. Like Travis, we didn't just make that up for the outtakes. Travis really was so tickled he couldn't stop laughing. It took us forever to finally get a take. Because another thing that's very funny is Travis is a very big, like muscle-bound kind of guy. He's like, 6'20", and he's just so big. But he really likes small, cute things, like for real. So him playing Mori, always having a honey, he would have to force like the. Yeah, because most of the time he just wanted to kind of giggle and laugh at things that were cute. So otherwise it's tough everybody has their moments of funniness in the show. It could go on and on and on. So yeah, I'm gonna go back and forth. So we just did this side, we'll back to this side. You, sir.
Two things. The first one, I already mentioned this at the Women of Anime panel regarding your work on Yuki Yuna and Lull in the Sea. Was there anything different working on the scripts for those compared to what you might have done at Funimation?
Yes. So he mentioned some script adapting that I've been doing. I started script adapting since, I guess, the end of last year. And I've worked on A Lull in the Sea, which is a show dubbed by Bang Zoom. And I think it's on pre-order right now. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful show, by the way. And then a little bit on Yuki Yuna is a Hero. And the differences between their scripts and Funimation scripts is simply in notation. But nothing as far as the adapting of them goes. I'll say this, but I don't want it to sound like one way is better than another. There's a bit more freedom at Funimation once a show is licensed from the Japanese. It's Funimation's. And unless the Japanese say at the beginning that they want to look into something or want this to be a certain way, we can do what we want. And that doesn't mean that we just totally go off and like go, we're gonna write this even though it's not the story. Not like that, but with shows at Bang Zoom, after a script is adapted, then the licensor wants to read the scripts, which is cool, but I think it's weird because we speak English as a first language, So, but anyway, so that's one thing I had to get used to, someone reading my work afterwards and telling me what they want different. I'm like, okay. And
the other thing was that there seems to be this really nice, I really like this trend now where we have people going back and forth between Texas and LA doing roles in those regions, cross region. I think it's a really awesome thing. Like you in Tales of Hysteria, do you really hoping for more of that?
Oh, I would love more of that. Who likes the Tales games? Woo. Tales games fans? Woo. Cool. So I play Rose in Tales of Zestiria, which comes out in October, September, fall, winter time. I don't know. I just recorded it last October, so it should be coming out sometime in the latter portion of this year. I am getting to do a little bit more work out in Los Angeles, and that's exciting. I dig it. I've always done Street Fighter out there, so I would go out every year or so, because there's always a new Street Fighter game every year. But I was just fortunate enough, just because of networking and connections, to be asked to audition for that. And it's always a pleasure and a surprise to be cast in things in LA, especially if they're related to anime or video games that came from Japan, because usually companies that go to Los Angeles to have their things dubbed want more involvement in the casting process. So that means that the Japanese chose me, and that's exciting. So, yeah. Cool question, thank you. Back to this side. Who has another one in? You, sir. Oh, goodness.
Sorry, that's a good question.
Yeah.
No. What I wanted to ask is, when you were directing the voicing for Ouran High School Club, and I noticed how many funny things has happened, so I wouldn't be surprised there were many outtakes. In comparison to many of the voice actors, such as Vic Mignogna or Michael Tatum, has there ever been times where they would like drive you crazy or something, or there's just things that was just out of control because of how ridiculously humorous it was?
Not those two. They're pretty professional. So they're really focused and just want to get the work done and make it the best that they can. So even if they have a kind of a silly moment, they get over it pretty quickly. Most of Vic's goofy stuff is things that he did on purpose. not mistakes, but he'd just want to, he would be Yoda just because he wanted to. He would make Star Wars jokes, just, we're standing there, I'm messing around with the script or something, and he's sitting there wondering, how can I change this line to be about Star Wars? And, so he would. That's mainly his thing, or he would get the take done right, and he'd know that we had plenty of time, so he'd say, can I give you another one? Can I give you another option? He'd be all serious, and usually I go, yeah, sure, go ahead. And then his new option would be something totally crazy. Like in episode 7 when they're at the water park. This is in the outtakes. They're doing the whole thing with the squirt gun, water gun fight, and then he, slips on a banana and goes, careening off the screen and lands into a totem pole. He did this take, and it's an outtakes, that's just stupid noises every time he flips. I get like he's just, I'm like, what are you doing? Okay. He just wanted to do that, so silly. He's really crazy. Excuse me. Back over here, front row, yeah.
Do you have like a favorite part of FMA?
A favorite part?
Or episode or something?
It's more of an overarching part. It's not, this episode or this moment in time. But I really appreciate how in Brotherhood you get to see a lot more growth, literally growth of Edward as a character. I think it's fun to follow his journey, and particularly his and Winry's journey further than you do in the original series, and to kind of watch their like romance kind of blossom. They go from being kids that feel something towards each other but they don't know what it is, to being like young adults who really understand what it is that they have for one another. And like, especially there's that episode where she is watching him from behind and she notices, like, when did his shoulders get so broad? I'm like, oh, that's like a real thing. And I don't have any guy friends in my life that I've had around since I was a child to notice that type of progression. So things like that I think are really special in it. There are tons of awesome things, but I assumed you meant in regards to my character, so. Yeah. Over here, yes ma'am.
I wanted, you've been doing voice acting and you've been doing acting in general for a while. If you hadn't have started acting in any form, do you have any idea of what you might have become?
Wow. Man, that's hard to say. I started acting as a hobby, went very young, like elementary school. But then music kind of took over, so maybe I would have done something musical. I was also really passionate about animals, so I might have become a vet, or I think there's a stage every child goes through where they say that they're going to be a vet. and then growing up, and maybe some of you can relate because you're here in Florida, and I grew up in San Diego, so with the beach and the ocean, and all girls say that they're going to be marine biologists. That's a thing, and they're going to save the whales, right? So it's really just because you want to swim with dolphins all the time. It's really what it is. So those were two things that I wanted. You know what? My aunt is an interior designer, and maybe that sounds like really cheesy, but I thought that was cool, and I was interested in finding out more about that, but then acting happened. So I imagine if I weren't an actor, I could be a marine veterinarian interior designer. And all of my interior designs would have like dolphins on them and big underwater murals. Let's see, anybody not in the front row? Yes, you sir, in the fun hat.
Yes, Ms. Glass, I want to just say, first starting off, I love your work. You as an actress. And I could actually relate a lot, even being a guy, to the character you play in Ouran as Haruhi. What I wanted to ask you right now, it's more of a request for a friend of mine.
Okay.
Her birthday's on Sunday. She wasn't able to make it to the con because she had to go away for a few days. And she's one of my best friends. Like, she reminds me a lot of you. And I see myself a lot of Tamaki and myself to always be watching over her and stuff. And just a few months ago, we just repaired our friendship from a very nasty fight and stuff. So, like, if I could get you saying happy birthday to her in your Haruhi voice.
Oh,
or
okay.
just saying hi, I'm Caitlin, I play Haruhi, I just want to say, if that's okay?
Yeah, and what's her name?
Janice.
Janice. Okay, you guys are gonna help me out at the end when we do the very last happy birthday to you. You're gonna jump in, okay?
Like say the whole happy birthday.
No, I'm gonna sing it, but you're gonna sing the very last line.
You.
No.
Majority.
So well,
we
you
say the last
confuse me.
one.
I'm not that smart at cons. I'm kind of like, hi, how are you? Coffee. Okay. Janice, I'll point at you when it's your turn, right?
Okay.
Are we going? Hi Janice, this is Haruhi Fujioka, and I'm here with some clients of the host club, and we wanted to sing you a song, okay? So here it goes. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Janice. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Woo! That was fun. Okay, you sir, in the Team USA jersey, I love soccer. Go. It's true.
So one of the currently airing shows is on Funimation's site is a show by Rock.
Show by Rock! I love you! I love my show. It's my show, you guys. I'm going to talk about it in just a minute. Okay, go.
Okay, how does working on that as I believe you're in director, right? And
Yes.
also as
Rhetoric.
How does that compare being a broadcast dub to some of the previous dubs you've worked on?
Okay, so let me give you the company line, but it's a good one. Funimation, I don't know if you know this, and I'm surprised at how many people don't. Funimation, the company, has a really awesome streaming service. It costs about as much as Netflix a month, and you can watch the shows that are coming out in Japan right now. Right now. So you don't have to wait. It's really obnoxious. So they do two things. If you, well, obviously you like dubs because you're here in my panel, but let's just pretend you can buy a sub pass and you can watch what they call simulcast shows. When they come out in Japan, like within a couple of days, they're on their website with subtitles, brand new anime. And then within 1 month, sometimes a little bit more, maybe 6 weeks, you can start watching them on a weekly basis dubbed into English. So no more of this waiting 6 months to a year to 18 months to get something in English. You can do it pretty instantly as far as our type of audience is concerned. We have 9 studios at Funimation, and like half of them run night and day, making these shows for you guys in a broadcast style. So we call them broadcast dubs because they run 1 episode a week, just like, you know, watching The Walking Dead or whatever the heck show you're into. So please do it. It's so cool. It's like the most exciting thing. We were all terrified about it to begin with, and we started out with just 2 of these shows, and now this second or third wave of it has begun. Third now, and there are, like I said, 9 studios doing these shows. It's so cool. So my current show is called Show by Rock, and I love it so much. This is a show that I would watch just as an anime and having nothing to do with being an actor or recording it. It's about a girl who really loves music but is too shy to join the music club at school, but she plays a music-related video game and she gets pulled into the world of the game, and then she ends up joining a band. It's a musical show. Every episode has music in it. We will dub all of the music, but because of the broadcast schedule, that's a little difficult. The show only just wrapped in Japan, so getting all the materials that we need to do the music takes some time. So when it comes out on disc, all the music will be dubbed. So everybody who's in the show can sing, and will sing. It's so exciting. And so people in the show, the lead is Bryn April, who's pretty new. She's been around for about a year or 2, but she's in like Attack on Titan. She plays Krista. She's fantastic. And she plays the lead girl in her little band. I'm also in it. I play Rhetoric. They're also all animal people. They look like you guys when you put on cat ears or dog ears or something. They're called Mumons, meaning music monster, like Pokemon, Digimon, but Mumon. For real, ask the Japanese, that's what they'll tell you. Anyway, so my character Rhetoric is a dog girl, and she's really shy and she plays the bass. And then Alexis Tipton is in the band, and Monica Rial. We're all in the main band. And then there's a guy band that has, get this, Chris Sabat, Mike McFarland, Ian Sinclair, and Jerry Jewell. And they all sing, and they're all great. And you can hear them sing right now. So there's some of their stuff is done, and you can watch those episodes, and they're singing, and it's great. You can hear Bryn sing a little bit already. And in every episode, they encounter other bands. Vic, who's here this weekend, he's in episode 1 as a guy named Shuzo, who is voiced in Japanese by Miyano-san, who also was Tamaki. So they're like, oh my god, they're so good, you guys. I'm so excited. Like every day that I work on the show, I'm going, I can't believe this is my life. I haven't had this much fun with the show since Ouran. So like it is, oh please go get an Elite subscription and watch the show. I would be so happy. It's so fun. I could go on and on. It's really, really great. To tell you about the quality of the show, I promise, I'll shut up about it in just a second. It's called Show by Rock. Show by Rock. This show was made by a fabulous studio that you probably know called Studio Bones. They animated Ouran High School Host Club, Fullmetal Alchemist, Soul Eater, Darker Than Black, some pretty big titles. They have a style that's definitely theirs and stunning and perfect for the show. Also involved in the production, a tiny company called Sanrio that made a character you might have heard of called Hello Kitty. Okay, so as far as the cuteness goes, oh, the show has it in spades. Because it was a video game, it still is. It's a mobile phone game from Japan, which you can get through Japanese iTunes and through like an app on Android phones that lets you download apps from other countries. And you play, it's like playing like Guitar Hero, but on your phone with your fingers. It's so rad. Anyway, so everybody is a little animal avatar. There are whole sections of the show that are made in CG 3D animation, but it's perfect. It's not like the cheesy kind of like, oh god, that looks awful. No, this is great. But it's like movie quality stuff. It's so good. I promise you that you will love it. It's beautiful to look at. It's fun to watch. You'll laugh. You'll cry. It's gorgeous. There's music. Show by Rock. I'm done. Okay, yay! I'm so excited. It's the best. It's the best. Please watch it. Over here in the back corner. What up? Oh my gosh. It isn't a line, but I really love the song that she sings with Tenma. There's, we don't get to sing as our characters doing the opening and closing songs very often, but in School Rumble, there's one particular closing that is sung by my character and Lucy Christian's character, the lead, and they play sisters. If you haven't seen School Rumble and you like comedy, great show too. So I can't think of a particular line, but I really love Lucy Christian just as a person, and as a voice actress, she's always been one that I had looked up to. So to be in a show and to play her sister was already cool enough, and then to sing this little song in character, like in our character voices, was pretty awesome.
I do have another question.
Yeah.
Do you think Lucy Christian would ever come to Miami?
The trick with Lucy is she's always working, and she's a mom, and her kids are still pretty young. So I think it might just be hard for her to get away, or to even want to get away when you have two awesome kids. So that's what she's got, kids that are both under 5. So, you know, maybe when they're a little older, she'll do more cons again. But otherwise, if you want to see her, look for her like in the Texas, maybe even Houston conventions specifically, because that's where she lives.
I thought you were gonna say go to her house. I was like,
Go to
wow.
Lucy's house. I don't know where it is. Here's where she lives.
Don't
She lives
don't say I told you
Yeah,
so.
I didn't send you. Okay. Back to this side. Yes, my dear, with the black sleeves and the bow on your head. Grace is your name, I remember.
How were you sad when Petra died and you wish she lived longer?
I was totally sad when Petra went away. I'm kidding. Was I petrified? I was not. I was petrified. You know, I'll be honest, Grace. When we recorded this show, I was like, oh, well, that stinks. But I kind of knew the violent nature of the show meant not everybody's going to make it. But I wasn't like in love with the character or the story, because I recorded Petra in about 6 hours, right? That's what's pretty rad. You could play this character that means so much to so many people and is like important. She's like this kind of force of nature in a way. So it wasn't until afterwards, when I was actually watching the show, that I was totally bummed that she died, because I didn't really know all that much. Like, all right, so she's into this Levi dude, whatever. Fine, he's pretty cool. But then when I watched the show, I'm like, that guy is totally cool. Wow. Of course she's into that. Yes, yeah. And then it's more depressing. Like the episode after she dies, I think, is even more sad than when she actually died. Oh my gosh. So Matthew Mercer, who plays Captain Levi. Yay! He and I were at a convention at the end of last year, and it's when Titan was still airing on Cartoon Network, and that's how I was watching it, not from DVDs. And so we made it a point to get together that night and watch that episode together. The episode where the whole squad is just wiped out. And man, we were like gripping each other, like, we can't, we were so emotional. And especially when Levi like kind of flies over and his face is just blank and it's kind of, it doesn't actually twitch. But I imagine he's having like an internal conniption seeing like everybody. And then Petra is the last one that they show, and then they show his face again, and you're like, oh my God, my heart, oh, I can't even. Yeah, so it was sad. Bye y'all, thanks for coming. See you around.
We would stay longer, but your mom.
No, moms are good. We like moms. All right, right here, front row.
Yes,
You've been waiting. Thank you.
So, you've done Street Fighter, right? You were the voice of Cammy?
And DiCaprio, yes.
Well, Street Fighter 5 is coming.
Yes.
And Cammy has just been confirmed.
Yes.
You excited for it, or?
I don't know that I'm allowed to say.
Just do it! Spoiler alert.
Tell us your opinion about Street Fighter 5.
My opinion about Street Fighter 5 is that it looks totally beautiful and awesome, and I'm really excited. And I don't have a next generation console, but because it's coming out, I'm going to get one.
PlayStation!
That's how excited. It's only on PlayStation.
Oh yeah, right, it's a Sony exclusive.
I have to get a PlayStation.
Yeah.
PC.
Yeah, and PC. So, well, no,
Forget that mess.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't plan.
That's
so
Street
it's
Fighter
gonna be
belongs on a
great.
console.
It's beautiful looking. It looks so.
Sega.
I was like, oh my gosh.
And also,
yes.
Charlie's back.
And Charlie's back, and I know who's playing him. Na, 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 na. You, sir, over here.
Alright, so I heard you say earlier today that you don't like telling people what you do because sometimes they'll ask you to do a voice. Usually with anime, like you're doing your own voice.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, do you think there's a place in voice work for people who can't do a whole bunch of crazy voices or can't exactly imitate it, don't have a very large range? Or is that spot just kind of taken up by people who do have a lot of range and they can't imitate it exactly?
I think that most anime voice actors do have a range and could produce crazy voices when required. But I think that with actresses, we do it less. If you're able to do a young boy voice, a lot of us have that kind of in our bag of tricks. And if you naturally have like a high, squeaky, quirky voice, then you can do that too. But it doesn't mean that we aren't talented voice actors. I just don't have to, I don't have to be Yoda. I don't have to be SpongeBob, or any of the awesome characters that you could go meet their voice actors downstairs if you wanted. So the question, is there a place for folks that aren't as versatile? I don't know, that's weird, that's strange. I think that the only way you get to be in a professional role is to show that you have versatility, whether you use it or not. A lot of the time, you'll find that there's a certain thing that you do and you're really good at that thing, and you'll just get cast to do that thing all the time because that's the thing that people really want from you. And that's sort of how it is. Doesn't mean that you couldn't do other stuff, but it's better to be versatile than not versatile, I think, is what I'm trying to get at. Back over here, yes ma'am, in the fez.
Accents are, an essential part of being a voice actor.
Sure.
And actor time. I know you have a brilliant British accent.
Thank you.
But what accent or even language would you love to have?
Like in life?
Yeah, in life or even character.
Like if I could just have an accent, and that would be my accent all the time. Oh man, I don't know. There are too many countries, there are too many places in the world. Actually, you know what accent I love listening to and I really miss it? I used to teach English to adults and I had students from everywhere, but my favorite were my female students from India. I just wanted them to just talk to me, just say anything. it's so interesting to hear. I love a female Indian accent is gorgeous. I can't, I'm not even gonna try to reproduce it because I think, I haven't studied it enough and it might sound like stereotypical or rude and that I don't know, I will not. I won't, I just like to listen to it a lot. It's one of my favorites. It's so pretty, it's just so interesting. Yes, sir.
If you got accepted into Hogwarts, what house would you be in?
Oh. I've taken the tests online, and I apparently would be Hufflepuff because I'm so nice. I guess it's where the really nice people go. Yeah, like the nice, friendly ones go there. So that's where I would end up, I guess. Yes, black hair. Or black cat, I'm sorry, not black hair. Yeah. In my head, I'm like, don't say the wrong one. And then I did say the wrong one, but I know who you are. Yes.
Oh, you've done like a lot of animes, like a very wide variety, like goofy, violent. Is it harder for you to get connected to a character if it's like in a too goofy anime or if it's too violent? Or do you have like a preference for doing either one?
I don't think it's hard to get connected to either based on the genre. It has more to do with this kind of the size of the role and how much time you get to spend with them. Sometimes a character shows up and is there occasionally and you record every once in a while. So you're like, who am I again? What does she sound like? Okay, and it's just a part of what you can do as the actor. Like, I don't want to say how much, it's not about talent, it's just how long you've been doing it. Like
Experiencing.
God, my words disappear. So it could be that this character isn't very present, but I've been doing the job long enough to know how to observe what's being animated and make a voice come out. Whether I spend a lot of time thinking about their feelings or feeling like I know them, it doesn't matter as much now, I think, as it used to. So feeling connected to a character is simply about how much time I get to spend with them. So I really know Haruhi because she's in every single episode of Ouran, all 26 of them. And I really know Winry because I played her for about 8 years. Yeah, even though she's not in every episode of Alchemist, Brotherhood, or the first season, but you know, I really know her because of the time I've spent with her. I don't know, but other characters are present, but in a small way. Let's say like Miria in Bakano. Just kind of shows up and they do their goofy, stupid thing and then disappear, and then the next one they're goofy and stupid. I think that maybe certain roles embody a particular part of yourself that you don't get to display in real life very often. So when you get the opportunity to do it in the booth, like you immediately connect with them because you know it's that crazy part of you that you kind of keep hidden because you can't act like that in real life. I mean, you could, but you don't want to go to jail or the insane asylum or something. So I feel like I really get Miria because she's also really physical and has very physical, comedic, kind of improvisational spontaneity about her, and I get that. I don't know if I answered your question. I'm just sort of rambling now. Yes, my dear.
Last year in summer of 2014, there was an anime that came out called Tokyo Ghoul. A lot of people know it.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of cosplayers of Kaneki upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And they've dubbed the second season, but I don't think they've dubbed the first. And when I was watching it, I'm like, Hidden Glass could be a really good Toka. So if you had the chance to be in the Tokyo Ghoul first season, would you do it?
I am already in Tokyo Ghoul, so I play Kimi or Kimi.
Oh, Kimi.
Yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah. She's cool. I like her a lot. They dubbed the second season as part of their broadcast dubs, which I mentioned earlier, and then with the intention of going back to do the first. So I don't know when it comes out or anything. But sorry that I'm not Toka. But I am Kimi and she's rad. It's a neat show.
It only comes out for like one episode.
She's in a few. She's in a couple. But I dig her and I like that she's opposite Eric Vale's character. She's fun and really good. So thanks for that question. How about over here? You, sir, in the second row.
How do you decide which conventions you want to attend?
It's really just based on
popularity?
Schedule. No, the schedule, because I can't do too many. Because of the broadcast dub schedule at Funimation, like we have to put out an episode a week, so it really I have to be very my schedule. It's all about schedule, really, and I try to just do one a month, because any more than that is totally fun, but not fun with trying to like run my house, see my husband, do my job. So it's mostly about, I look at, have I been there before? Have I been to that part of the country before? Whatever, how was my experience the last time, if it is going back to somewhere that I've been. But the main thing is schedule. Hi, camera. Okay. Who hasn't done one? Kigurumi.
Hi. So I heard you like Doctor Who.
I love Doctor Who.
Okay, so who's your favorite alien? What's your favorite alien?
My favorite alien? Oh my gosh. Whoa. Whoa. The Doctor, he's an alien.
Wait, he is?
Oh, okay, oh, other than the Doctor, fine.
Okay.
Oh my. There are too many. There are too many of them. Shout out some names. Give me some reminders. No, okay. Of the big ones, of the main ones, I'm not really into like Daleks or Cybermen, like the Cybermen. They're Jewish apparently. The Cybermen. I don't know.
Sontarans?
The Sontarans are really funny.
Weeping Angels?
Not the Weeping Angels. They're terrifying.
People of New York.
What?
What about the people?
The Canbula, no. I don't know. Maybe it is Sontarans. I like funny things. So, yeah, no, the sounds are scary. I don't like the scary ones. I pick the funny ones. Are you my mummy? No. Scary. Scary. Okay, back to this side. Who has another one? Kimono.
What was the most emotional scene or part in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood?
In Brotherhood, the most emotional thing to do was the Winry's confrontation with Scar. Hands down, far and above, so very emotional. Like, Winry is crying, Caitlin was crying. It was hard. It was hard work. Because things have been building up for me for that scene for years. Back in 2005, Alchemist was still coming out on TV here, dubbed, and at a convention, someone came up to me with the manga and showed me that scene and said, this is how it really goes down. And Mustang didn't kill your parents, Scar did, and check out this scene. I'm like, what? They said, wouldn't that be cool to get to act that out? I'm like, yeah, it totally would. And in 2005, we didn't think that that would ever become a reality. Fast forward 5 years in 2010, and it was a reality, and there I was. So I knew that it meant a lot to the fans and kind of payoff for Winry, and like, it was rough. But I think it turned out really well.
I prepared for this moment for 5 years.
Yes, my dear.
Which anime would you recommend to people that are new to anime? If they ask you.
FMA. Brotherhood specifically.
You know, it depends on what type of things they like to watch. A lot of people are turned off by anime because they think it's cartoons. So they think it's for little kids, and they don't understand that it's an entire medium of storytelling that contains many different genres of entertainment within it. So find out about your friend and their tastes. What kind of, do they like action things? Do they like comedy things or romance things or even horror things? Because those exist too, paranormal things. And then find a show like within that genre. Because a lot of people would go, tell them to watch Ouran. But if you aren't an anime person, like what if you've never seen anime before? Ouran might really freak you out. You'd be like, what? Because a lot of it is tongue-in-cheek, and a lot of it, they know exactly what they're doing, like pandering to the fans or making fun of a certain type of fan that's into this type of guy or whatever. And they might be like, well, I don't get it. You know, the humor might be over their head. So, I don't know. You might have them watch something as like a transition, like tell them to watch like Teen Titans. Right? Because it's like an American cartoon but drawn in the style of anime, and it uses a lot of anime tricks and stuff, like when their faces go crazy or they turn chibi. Let them get used to what it all looks like and the style of storytelling, and then say, and now Fullmetal Alchemist. Something like that.
Wait, are you talking about the original or the reboot? Because the reboot sucks.
No, she's not talking about Ghost.
Don't even talk about not liking Teen Titans Go, or I will punch you in the face.
Young Justice for
life. It's my favorite show on television, and that is not an exaggeration.
I have a question. Like when you were first doing Ouran, and you know, watch, like, because my cousin and I got into it because they pulled Brotherhood off. We were marathoning, and so as a joke, do you want to watch Ouran? So that's how I got into it. And the first episode is, you know, fun and like absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
But then the further you go, it starts to get more serious. You know, like the door the twins opened, and
Uh-huh.
Joy, you met him. So where you were doing the show, were you surprised that it took that turn eventually, or did you always just assume it's going to be this happy, fun show?
Well, unlike now, when in working on the broadcast dubs like we're doing now, we are casting a show and we haven't even seen the end of it. Because when we begin it, they're only 4 to 6 episodes in to putting it out in Japan. And we'll only get translations maybe a couple episodes ahead of time. So we're more surprised now about what happens with story, unless it came from a manga or a light novel and we can kind of look ahead and go, I think maybe they'll do this. But with Ouran, it was all out. The whole show had been released, so I had seen it all before Funimation even acquired it, before I was named as the director. So I wasn't surprised at that point. Vic mentioned in the Ouran panel yesterday that anime, more than any other medium of storytelling, really is great about getting you hooked through the zaniness and the craziness of characters and then twisting it into something that's suddenly really heartfelt. And I completely agree with him. So I think that's why you love the characters so much, and that's why you can relate and why you care about their problems, is because they made you laugh, and like laughter and what you feel from it is very endearing. Yeah. So that's why you go, oh no, that's what their life is? Oh gosh. Right? If we started with all that, you'd be like, this show's depressing, I don't want to watch it. But instead, he goes, those guys are hilarious. I want everything to be better for them. I got to keep watching and find out. So, smart Japanese storytellers. Right here. Yeah.
This is random, but have you heard of a game called Hatoful Boyfriend?
No, what is that? Is that with the pigeons? Okay, so I said no, but then the only thing I've seen a screen cap of a friend of mine who works at Geek and Sundry put it up, and I'm like, what? It's a dating game with pigeons. You get pigeons to date one another.
Pigeons are great.
I think I can appreciate the humor in that, because I think that dating sims are kind of silly. Like, really? Go date a real person. But I guess it's kind of like, I can make these people like each other if I do it right. But instead, you're doing it with pigeons.
I'll say this, it also genuinely, surprisingly tells a very poignant story that genuinely will tug at your heartstrings. I cried twice during the game.
Wow, it's a real man over there, guys. He's crying at pigeon love. Are you single? Are you single? Okay, this single guy is real sensitive and cool, ladies. Go check him out later. He's got a nice hat. And I mean this sincerely. Okay, for real. No, I've never played it, but I would like to see it. It sounds totally awesome. Oh, that's weird.
Oh. I thought it was you.
I thought you make pigeons date.
No. That is also not the weirdest part of the game.
Oh, you date a pigeon?
Yes.
Whoa, you lost me. Okay, next question. Ladies, don't date that guy. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. Unless you're a pigeon. Pigeons.
They're usually flying in New York.
I'm just kidding. Who has not asked one? Over here in the gray shirt. Yeah.
Do you have any tips for anyone who wants to become a voice actor?
If you want to be a voice actor, start out by being an actor. I'm not joking. Like, that sounds like I'm being funny, but it's totally true. The only way we're able to convey the emotions that we can is because we have acting experience and we learned how to do that and to just recall them at any point in time and how to make quick decisions. So if you've never acted before, do that. Make sure that it's something you can do and are interested in. Whether it's on stage, in front of a camera, anything. That's the first thing you have to do, because maybe you hate it. You know, maybe you're terrified and you're never able to get over that, and that's not good. So.
Well, what if you have acting experience?
Okay, there we go. So she's like, all right, I'm already an actor, Caitlin Glass. Tell me something I don't know. God, sorry, you're so pushy. I would would say that understand that anime voice acting is only something you can do in like 2 or 3 places in the country. And in the whole realm of acting, it's such a small little corner of it that trying to break your way into it is kind of silly. And say, I'm only gonna do that, because you can't thrive doing just that. And the people who do are already doing the work. So until they retire or are sick of it, don't think you're like, I'm gonna be the next so-and-so. It's like, well, so-and-so is so-and-so right now. Sorry. And it also means, like, do you really want to go live in Dallas? Do you really want to go live in Los Angeles? Because that's where you're gonna have to live if you want to voice in anime. So understand that voice acting and voice over is a lot bigger world than just anime dubbing, and it pays better too. So I would say look for workshops that are legitimate. A lot of really awesome LA voice actors, a lot of the ones that are here, but not the non-anime folks. So those people often have workshops and things, or their agent or their coach, whoever taught them, does that kind of stuff. And it would mean some travel for you, going to wherever they're doing it, or maybe sometimes those folks come through some major cities and it's like a weekend workshop and you pay a decent amount of money, be prepared, but you're learning from the best on how to develop characters and tips for making demos and those kinds of things. Yeah, so start there, I guess. I could probably keep talking about that, but let's talk about anime. Anime, go! Back over here, you sir, black shirt.
What we really change that people don't see as this that actual art form?
I'd say don't bother with people that don't get it, because some people are never going to get it. It's like trying to make a person like sports that really is not oriented to liking it. I mean, for real, like, don't waste your breath, first and foremost. I don't know that it's something that can just ever, kind of like you're going, how could the general population immediately view anime in a different way? Well, I don't mean immediately right now. Like, if you mentioned anime, you don't want them to suddenly think about, like, girls drawn with particular proportions or giant robots. I think that's pretty much what people think. Like, it's girls with thick boobs or robots, right?
Or lots of screaming.
Yeah, or screaming, or yeah. You know, I don't know. I think that it helps. Netflix is helping. Just exposure to more shows is certainly helping. And not just Netflix, there's a lot of anime streaming even on Hulu nowadays. Like, you could type in the search bar, start typing in 2 letters, and the list that'll come up will be regular TV shows plus anime shows. So I think that's gonna help. The only thing that's gonna change people's minds is if they're exposed to it more, really. And, you know, spread the word, anime's good. I don't know, I'm not an ambassador. Back up to this side of the room. Blue shirt.
When you, for Danganronpa, did you ever, we're not going to use names here, just talents.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get attached to a character and they just died?
No, not really. Only because when I was recording, many of the other voices hadn't been recorded yet. So I'm kind of acting with nobody around me, and it was a lot of explanation from the director. Okay, then this happens, and then this person does this, and the story's really complicated. And as I mentioned before, Kirigiri is very straightforward, and by the book, she doesn't even really get emotional. So that whole process was like, okay, I just did some show, and I talked a lot, and there was dying, and what? It was really cool, because I think that the style of animation is really neat. So I'm interested to finally get to watch the show and hear everybody in it, and then I think that I may gain some attachment to characters. Also, when we record, we're only dealing with the scenes that we are actually in. So the moments when this person dies or that person is, you know, killed, that sounds lovely to anybody who doesn't know what show we're talking about. I'm not really privy to seeing those moments because I'm not in them. You only deal with what you're recording. So after the fact, when I get to watch it all, is when I can make a better decision about that. Cool question. Back over here in the second row.
If Haruhi or Winry were magical girls, what kind of powers do you think they have?
I'm trying to imagine either of them as a magical person. gosh. Haruhi's magical power would be like to make everything have discounted prices. Right? Like her weapon would be like a pricing gun with like little orange stickers on it. A little price tag machine. That's what it would be. But it could like shoot out, so she wouldn't actually have to go up to a thing and put it, but she could be like 99 cents, right? It was like flying across the room. Or 99 cents. There we go. Bye. And Winry's would. Could there be like a magical girl in a giant robot? She
Yes.
would totally be into that.
Yes.
Yeah, she'd be like
would just be screwed.
magical girl robot person. You guys are fabulous. Are you part of the next panel?
We're waiting.
Okay, they're waiting for. Who's next?
Sing along.
Get the lyrics.
Oh, okay. So I think that
You
you're
still
gonna
have
kick
five.
me out. Is that right?
Nah, it's 7:30.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 7:30 now. We gotta wrap it up.
Oh, before theirs starts? Okay. That's a weird time. Starts at 7:45. Whatevs. Okay, so I'll do one last question then. You, sir, make it good. No pressure.
I have a request and I asked Josh to do this last year at Supercon at the main stage with the Attack on Titan cast.
Oh.
Can you do your character scream?
My character scream?
Yes. Live right now.
Oh boy, I don't want to relive that.
I don't either. And I'm afraid that it'll disappoint you. Like, I don't know that there's a particular. I know that there's a way that she screams when that happens to her, but I don't recall it. You know?
What scream though? Is she like
can you just scream in her character?
No, because you don't understand. Like, this is my livelihood, and I still have 2 days left of the con, so I have a lot more talking to do. And when I get in on Monday, I have to record. So I gotta save this. I gotta save it. I'm so sorry, but I don't scream as much as Armin, but I can. I can do this. I